progressing. Court cases keep them guessing. Plea bargain ain't an option now, so I'm stressing. Cost me more to be free than a life in the pen. Making money off of cuss words, writing again. Learn how to think ahead, so I fight with my pen. Late night down, sunset, like in the sin. What's the worst they can do to me? Got me lost in hell to live and die in LA. On bail, my angels.
KBLA, yes they do. Talk 1580, rest in peace, Pac. I'm Dominique DiPrima, and this is First Things First on KBLA Talk 1580. Sherri Bell is joining me. She's a labor organizer, my partner in politics every other week. We thought we'd do something a little bit different and have Sherri join us for hour two so we can talk about some local issues with an activist who can put the labor lens on things as well. Good morning, Sherri.
Good morning, Dominique. How you doing? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday to you. Great to hear your voice. I'm going to start with what I consider good news. I'm pretty sure you agree with me, which is that a federal judge ruled this week that the guy who used to call himself America's mayor, the former president's legal advisor, one-time campaign manager, Rudy Giuliani, is legally liable for defaming two Georgia election workers. Remember the two workers, Ruby Freeman and Shaye Moss, black women, who were targeted by Giuliani. He sort of spread this conspiracy theory that they were interfering in the election. As a result, they have had death threats constantly since 2020. Kanye West's former publicist visited Miss Freeman and threatened her. This is embarrassing and rare for him because the judge, U.S. District Court Judge Beryl Howell, said that Giuliani had violated her orders to produce relevant information. In other words, discovery, where you got to share what you have with the other side in a court case. And she said because he flagrantly did not adhere to discovery, he loses before the case even goes to trial. So basically what the judge says, the only thing we're going to look at in this trial is how much you have to pay. That's great news to me.
Right.
You got thoughts on that? I mean, Ruby Freeman and Shaye Moss, they're about to get paid. That's what I know.
That's what I was hoping, because I'm like, that is like clearly, what is it? I don't know. It was slander, libel, defamation, whatever you want to call it. Potentially an attempt to damage their reputation without any direct evidence, like sensationalism, at its best, to spread this narrative that the election was somehow stolen on the backs of two black electoral workers. It's disgraceful. It's desperate, and I'm glad that he's being held accountable for that, because it's dangerous. Like you said, people were showing up giving these folks death threats. So they deserve every penny from him. I know he's good for it, and I hope that they, are able to, get some monetary compensation off of him, because, and hopefully it sends a message and deeply resonates throughout these folks with these scarcity politics and these divisive politics and narratives that now, in the era of social media and things of that nature, people are starting not to get so clearly away with.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's a good point. I wonder if he is good for it, because Rudy Giuliani has been begging for the former president, Mr. 45, to pay his legal bills. And I don't know if that's because he's just trying to save his money or because he's actually driven himself broke. I read a really interesting report, Sherri, about how Jack Smith, from the Department of Justice, is looking into whether Rudy Giuliani was drunk on January 6th and whether he was giving the former president, drunk advice on overturning the election. And you would think, well, who cares if he was drunk or not? He's not really too brilliant either way. But I guess it's relevant because if he was drunk and the president knew he was drunk, which apparently everybody around did because he was like sloshy drunk, like, 3 sheets to the wind drunk, then the president actually is in more peril because he took advice that he knew was not coherent just because it suited his fancy, and that could work against him. His defense, which is advice of counsel. I was relying on the advice of my counsel. But if I knew my counsel was, completely drunk, then that doesn't hold up so well.
I mean, Donald Trump can tell when somebody's drunk. I mean, he's been partying since the 80s, and before then, so for him to, and then he's a powerful politician as well. So I'm sure that he trusts his own opinion over Rudy Giuliani's anyway. And so the fact that he wouldn't rely, I don't believe he would rely on Rudy Giuliani's word of being drunk unless he agreed with it and, and felt comfortable doing it himself. I mean, he's not no new kid on the block.
Right.
And so, yeah. So
not only that, I
we're
mean,
not that naive.
Not only that, Sherri, I mean, what you just made me realize, the guy fires lawyers every 5 minutes. So clearly, if he doesn't agree with you, he just gets rid of you.
Yeah, that's right. It's just a weak defense. They're grasping for straws. This whole thing is really an embarrassment to whatever, political agenda and their political party, but it baffles me, and it's kind of like very telling that he's still the front runner in the GOP, primaries, despite all of this disgrace and lies and conflict. And it just goes to show that people are willing to argue over Obama's tan suit more than Trump and his entourage's drunken lies and stealing papers and hold them in the bathroom and all this just weird stuff they've been getting away with.
Well said, Sherri Bell. It's a great time for you to call me and Sherri, 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. Oprah in The Rock stepping up with big money for Hawaii. We'll look at that. And a senior citizen, I guess we'll call him, who killed a young black boy about to see his day in court. We'll look at those when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
When you're young, life is full of choices. Don't let opioids like highly addictive and deadly fentanyl take away your life with just one wrong pill. Addiction is a disease that can affect anyone at any age. But there is a choice to get help for this disease. Find medically proven treatment options, including virtual, at choosemat.org.
21 Days of Beauty. 21 days with daily beauty steals of up to 50% off. 21 days of Slay. 21 days of Yay. 21 days of Are You Kidding Me right now? Beauty's biggest event is on now till September 16th at Ulta Beauty. Discover irresistible deals on must-have brands like IT Cosmetics and Fenty Beauty by Rihanna. Plus, new launches from Pat McGrath Labs. Shop in store, online, or pick up today. Ulta Beauty. The possibilities are beautiful. Conditions apply.
If this were a Reese's TV ad, you'd be staring at a Reese's peanut butter cup. And sure, my voice is peanut buttery smooth, but still, you need to see the peanut butter cups, right? No? I can really just say Reese's and you'll go get some? Okay. Reese's. 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 Really working, actually. Reese's. Reese's. I'm on to something. Reese's. 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 Reese's.
Are you looking to steer your career in a new direction? Driving for the Culver City Bus can be your ticket to a long-lasting career with excellent benefits and paid training. Culver City Bus is looking for customer service and safety-minded bus operators to join the growing team. Culver City Bus offers on-the-job paid training, uniform allowance, and health benefits. Culver City Bus are now even putting their money in your pocket with a one-time $2,500 sign-on bonus. Let us connect you with an essential service job. If you enjoy driving, seek real opportunities for career advancement, and passionate about making a difference in your community, then we invite you to join the team. Start your journey by submitting an application at culvercity.org/job. For more information, visit culvercitybus.com or call the live customer service operator at 310-253-6500. Again, 350-253-6500.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DiPrima on First Things First.
And we're talking with labor organizer Sherri Bell. But Sherri, let's go right to the phones and go to Dee calling us from Long Beach. Good morning, Dee.
Good morning, Dominique. How do you feel?
I feel good. Is that a trick question?
No, nothing behind my back. I don't want to crash the party with an unrelated topic, but I tend to do that. Speaking to the woman you were talking about, the ethnic studies teacher.
Yeah.
Well, I'm what happens when two light-skinned Afro-Cherokee brown brothers from Atlanta marry two dark-skinned Afro-Creek Harris sisters from Adel, Georgia. I wrote the Muskogee Nation to get my tribal papers, and they told me they stopped granting tribal papers the same year that Roots aired. So the Creek and Cherokee, they had a war, and the winner of that conflict was King George of England. A couple of days ago, I heard an infrequent term on another station called the Island of Hispaniola. How rare is that word?
I mean, I've heard it. I'm not sure where you're going with this. You know, there's many folks, including our friend Fixico, who are black, either descendants of freedmen, as our guest yesterday would say, descendants of enslaved Africans who were enslaved by indigenous, the so-called civilized nations, or who are indigenous mixed with black indigenous, descendants of maroons that, you know, have struggled for recognition by those nations. And I know that's one of the things that Congresswoman Maxine Waters has been working on. But I'm not quite sure why you're going to Hispaniola, or what your bottom line here is, your question or your bottom line point that you're trying to land here, Dee.
Two bottom lines. Did you see the Senate apology for slavery in the U.S. Senate on C-SPAN?
Did I see it on C-SPAN? Did I watch it? No.
Okay. And finally, where are our 12 black U.S. senators and 12 black governors?
There are no 12 black senators. Are you talking about the U.S. Senate, right? Not state senates.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
No such thing exists.
And will your feelings be hurt? Will you get your feelings hurt when they get rid of the what is it called, the filibuster?
Will my feelings be hurt when I get rid of the filibuster? No, I think we should get rid of the filibuster, even though I know it's a double-edged sword. But, yeah, I think we should my feelings will not be hurt. They won't be hurt when D.C. gets statehood status either. They won't be hurt if Puerto Rico gets statehood status. And they definitely won't be hurt if we put term limits on the Supreme Court, or get rid of the Electoral College and so many of the other measures that we've talked about that are meant to make our country a true representative democracy. What about you, Sherri? Will your feelings be hurt if the filibuster is ended?
No, I won't. I think that it's used as a tactic, to disrupt, like smooth going politics, and depending on who has the majority, can be very costly and dangerous.
Yeah. I mean, the problem is that we don't have proportional representation, right? If the states were represented in the Senate in proportion to the number of people that live in that state, all of our problems with passing things through the Senate would be over right now, because California would have way more clout in the Senate rather than having 2 senators, even though we have most of the people in the country, just the same as Rhode Island gets 2. That's not proportional representation. That's,
Right.
So things like
And
the
we all know
filibuster.
why that is.
Go ahead, Sherri.
I was like, we all know why that is, because a lot of the more populous southern states with black folks, they don't want those states to carry as much political weight as some of the smaller majority white states. So they rewrite the rules in order to disrupt any type of fair, popular vote type of proceedings, right?
Yep. D, you got a last word here?
I think that we're entitled to at least 12 black U.S. senators and at least 12 black U.S. governors.
Based on our percentage in the population?
Yes, ma'am. So why would an individual senator want to dilute his or her power, by overturning the filibuster? I mean, one senator can just hold everything up, like Mr. Manchin. He refused to go along. How powerful would that be in the hands of a black man or woman?
Yeah, well, you would need a brave black or entitled black man or woman, because, to have the audacity to think that you and your personal agenda, in the case of a Joe Manchin, your personal campaign donors, i.e. Big Coal, are more important than the well-being of an entire nation. I don't know. I don't know too many black people that are that selfish or that entitled.
Ambition is lethal. Ambition is fatal, and ambition can be fatal.
Well, yeah, no doubt. So, when you're talking about proportional representation in terms of population presence. And that is the issue that I have with 2 senators per state. It doesn't make any sense, as you said, Sherri. But speaking of people that have the audacity to feel that they should be able to, hold up an entire country or have some kind of immunity from the law and ethical standards, don't get me started on Clarence Thomas. He goes ahead and he finally does a disclosure for last year, his ethics disclosure, after skipping many, many years. And now we find out he's gotten even more trips and more favors. He took a couple of private jet plane rides on Harlan Crow last year. One of them he said he had to do because somebody leaked a Supreme Court opinion about Dobbs, and that overturning a woman's right to choose might make him unsafe.
What?
So, go ahead, Sherri. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's the consequences. Forgive me, I didn't do the research of if it's proven that these ethical violations, if these ethical rules were violated. This is just in recent history. Clarence Thomas has been on the Supreme Court for a long time. I don't know how far back they want to go, but I mean, I'm gonna just say it's safe to say that this has probably been a pattern that is just coming to light, and it's hugely. If it was any other person's job, right? This is a job, right? If anybody else had this conflict of interest, they wouldn't get away with this actions that he's been taking, right? This political influence on decisions. That's what Curran Price, that barely did anything wrong, is in trouble for now. For just having his wife's health benefits and potentially, voter. This guy is taking trips, wine and dine, the person buying his mama a house and he's voting on stuff that could impact and fatten that Harlan Crow's pocket. So I don't see how he's able to get away with this.
Right. Well, that's because there are no formal ethics rules for the Supreme Court. Apparently, the Chief Justice, Roberts, had them sign some kind of little ethics letter last year, which has no teeth, no enforceability, and no oversight. And so far, the Republicans are blocking the idea because Congress does have the power to enforce a set of ethics standards and rules on the Supreme Court. But so far, the Republicans are blocking that. So now it was three more trips, not two. Two to Dallas and one to the Adirondack Mountains, where he goes every year on this guy, Harlan Crow, this far right-wing conservative billionaire. He didn't feel safe flying commercially. Why? Because he flouted the people's will and overturned a woman's right to choose, or was planning to.
Right.
Incredible. Just incredible. And will there be any consequences? It remains to be seen. I mean, I think if we do put in ethics rules, or if somehow he gets impeached, but I don't know. Maybe this leads to the expansion of the court, more justices, so each one has less power. It's really troubling.
It is really troubling that there's no checks and balances with the Supreme Court. I mean, I know that they're the highest court of the land in the United States, but everyone needs checks and balances, and it appears that this body of lawmakers doesn't have one, and that is a huge problem. And I hope that this news story that's taking place now will be, will be that thing. But unfortunately, Trump stacked a lot of the judges and a lot of the elected in his favor before he left. But I'm hoping that they will not let up on this. This will not get let up on, and that there are some reforms, some real reforms.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so too. I think it's certainly moving public opinion, which, at the end may be what's needed to finally get this situation under control. Because think about it, these are lifetime appointments. What other political job is a lifetime appointment? Even in the Senate, the U.S. Senate, in the Congress, where people can stay until they're, older than Dianne Feinstein, you still have to get reelected. Not the Supreme Court. They just get appointed and they can sit their butts there until they literally the wheels fall off.
Yeah. I'm surprised, this is 2023. I'm surprised that, none of this stuff has come up all this time, about, maybe it has. I just haven't been around to see it, people questioning the lifetime appointment and, ethical things coming up. It baffles me that all of this time, it's like a new thing. I don't know.
I think you're right. It probably goes in cycles, but I think you're right that it's more of a big conversation now. And if we're being honest, maybe it's partly because Clarence Thomas is a black man. So when they see the corruption, it really gets into their hackles. That said, he doesn't get a pass. I mean, this is really bad. Speaking of elected staying in office past when they probably should, you saw that Mitch McConnell froze up again during a news conference, froze for a full 20 seconds. And yet his doctor has cleared him to continue doing his job. He's not just a senator, he's the Senate Minority Leader. At the risk of being ageist, we got a minute here. Do you think he should resign? Do you think he should step back? He's 81. But to me, the health is more important than the age.
Yeah, I think he should resign, but I don't think he will because he don't want to relinquish that power. And I think that, there should be some reassessments to assess if he can meet the requirements, if he can perform his job, because that's what it's really about. Can he perform his job? His cognitive decline has been on full display for the public to see. I don't know who's assessing that to see, But yeah, again, another reform that's needed because this person will probably hold on to that bit of power until, like you said, until they roll over. I mean, I could not see him retiring unless he's forced to.
Right, and he doesn't have he doesn't have to worry about a Democrat taking his place, even though we'd love that, because he personally passed a law in Kentucky where the governor has to appoint someone of the same party if someone retires.
Oh.
And so even though they have a Democratic governor, he would get another Republican. But still, they won't step down. I don't get it. Continuing our conversation with me and Sherri Bell and you after news, traffic, and sports, only on KBLA Talk 1580.
The station you turn to when you've had it up to here with cultural incompetence. KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. An updated list of the people considered missing or unaccounted for following the deadly wildfire in Lahaina, Hawaii will be released today. The current list has 388 names. Governor Josh Green expects the total to drop significantly this time, possibly to the lower double digits, and maybe even below 50. There are 115 people confirmed dead, and 100% of the disaster area has been searched for remains. In Indiana, a fine arts fair is returning to Indianapolis this Labor Day weekend. Butter is happening now through September 3rd. The third annual festival will showcase work from more than 50 Black artists. The arts fair opens at 11 a.m. each day and stays open until 6. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Right now, during Labor Day savings at Lowe's, get up to $1,500 off select major kitchen appliances. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 9/6. Savings vary based on purchase amount. Exclusions apply. See Lowe's.com for details.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
I'm a bad man. The best two teams in baseball squared off last night at Dodger Stadium. The Dodgers came up one run short to the Atlanta Braves and missed out on a franchise milestone. The Dodgers were trying to win 25 games in a month for the first time since the team moved to LA from Brooklyn in 1958. The Dodgers finished the month 24-5. Mookie Betts had 51 hits in August. Betts also hit his 37th and 38th home runs last night. The Dodgers get another shot at the Braves tonight. Francis Tiafoe, the only Black American male left in the U.S. Open, knocked off Sebastian Offner of Austria in straight sets. Tiafoe, ranked 10th in the world, moves into the third round. He takes on Adrian Manarino of France today at 11 a.m. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Hi, it's Tavis Smiley. KBLA Talk 1580 is inviting you to join us on Saturday, September 16th, 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. for our very first economic empowerment event for the community. This event is free and is powered by Caltrans. We're doing this in association with Rambo House, and here's Rambo to tell you more.
Contracts. I'm going to say it again for all of us small business owners out there. Contracts. Rambo House, KBLA, Tavis, me. Oh my God, this is going to be massive. I truly thank Caltrans for giving us the opportunity to focus on contracts. Listen, that's what it's all about to be a small business in LA. That's how we hire our own. That's how we expand our community is contracts. KBLA1580.com is for you to have a seat at our contracts-focused event. Contract Ready does it again. We had over 900 last time. So you guys know how exciting this is. And if you just think that you want to get into contracts and you're close to it, bring your friends out for September 16th at the Marriott Hotel. Listen, you know where to register. KBLA1580.com. Come see me. I can't wait to see you. Let's do it, Tavis.
So be sure to go to KBLA1580.com for all the details. We'll see you Saturday, September 16th.
Are you looking for a tax preparation firm that understands the unique financial challenges of African American business owners? Then look no more. Wealth Management Financial Advisors can prepare and file your individual and business taxes. They're committed to providing their clients with the best possible service. See how they make the greatest impact on your taxes. Find them at wealthmanagementlb.com or call them at 562-427-8877. That's 562-427-8877.
When a cold comes on strong, knock it out with Vicks DayQuil Severe for max strength daytime relief. Just one dose of Vicks DayQuil Severe starts to relieve 9 of your worst cold and flu symptoms to help take you from 9 to none. Power through your day with Vicks DayQuil Severe, the daytime non-drowsy, coughing, aching, fever, sore throat, 9 to none medicine. Use as directed.
Gotta stay fresh, my house shot with a rest bar, shot with a rest bar, shot with a rest bar.
Have you visited us online for the grand opening of KBLA.store? For the best in new merch, gift ideas, books, media, and more, log on to KBLA.store. Be sure to check out our KBLA team favorites at KBLA.store today. That's KBLA.store for all the official merch on your favorite talk radio station, KBLA Talk 1580.
Heard any other talk radio lately that sounds anything like this? We didn't think so. You're listening to Unapologetically Progressive, KBLA Talk 1580.
You are, and we're so glad that you are. You can call us 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580 here with Sherri Bell, my partner in politics today. So much to unpack, so much to unpack. I feel like I can't keep up with all of it, but I did get some good news I forgot to share with you, Sherri, and the KBLA delegation, which is that Brian Kemp, the governor of Georgia, is shutting down this idea that they are going to remove Prosecutor Fani Willis from office. He says that, there's no merit to the idea that she's corrupt or that she is worthy of being removed from office. And this is Republicans disagreeing with Republicans. It's not just him, but he said, Trump, of course, pleaded not guilty to those Georgia charges on Thursday. We found out today, at least I found out today, that the judge has agreed to televise that trial. But Brian Kemp says no special session. He will not investigate D.A. Willis. And he says, as long as I'm governor, we're going to follow the law and the Constitution, regardless of who it helps or harms politically. It's worth noting that Trump has been talking smack about Kemp for at least a year, so he may not be feeling very cooperative.
Yeah, when I think of this, I think of two things. Number one is that I look around and there's like 3 strong black women who are taking Trump down in like 3 different states. And he has a history of attacking black women and calling black women all kind of names publicly and things of that nature. So I find it ironic. But secondly, it kind of reminds me of the Civil War, what's going on right here, right?
Yeah.
Like when the South tried to secede from the North and start their own, little situation, little country. And the North was like, no, like you're going against the United States. That's where I take a stand. That's where we're going to have to go to war. I feel like the governor of Georgia is taking a stand against an attack on the Constitution, right? By holding Trump accountable, because it's kind of like I think of Trump and his camp as like the Confederacy.
Yeah.
Like everything they tried to do, right? Like they tried to storm the Capitol. They tried to take over. It was like a little mini civil war that got quashed really quickly. But it kind of reminds me of that. So I don't want to think of it like, okay, he got this black woman back. It's like that's like not the whole story. I think of it more as like he wants to uphold and sustain what America has with the words in the Constitution, and not having this person, this in his camp, challenge it in a way that has been challenged. Like a little mini civil war.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is. I hope it doesn't grow to a bigger civil war, because with the growing, attacks, shooting attacks on black people that are simply white extremist terrorism, like what we saw in Jacksonville, I think it's fueled by exactly what you're saying, and I hope it doesn't become more widespread. Let's go to Molly Bell calling us from the city of Compton, like she does often on Fridays. Good morning, Molly Bell.
Reparations in memory of our ancestors. And God bless morning to you, Dominique, Miles, Sherri Bell. Been listening to you. Enjoy you every time that you're on with Dominique. You guys have a real good chemistry. That's the word I'm looking for. And it's good. I like it very much. And to the KBLA, you're welcome. And to the KBLA 1580 family, delegation, and of course the chat room. First of all, I got to do a disclaimer for myself. I've always had pets, but I've always had little dogs, like a Chihuahua, like a poodle, and Father Gus know that I'm by myself, and he brought me over last night a great big old 4-month-old German Shepherd.
Wow.
Yes. I didn't know what he said. He wanted me to give it to me. His puppy, his German Shepherd had puppies, so I don't know anything about German Shepherds. And so when I got ready to call in early at 7, that dog wanted me to do stuff for him. I'm not ready for that yet. But anyway, I'm excited. I'm excited about it. But what I wanted to call in for, a great show. And for me, first of all, I think that we have some of the smartest black women. This seemed like since COVID, and maybe it's probably been before, but seemed like since COVID, haven't we seen black women just be the bomb, just be awesome? And I just love it. And I'm saying we've got to pray for them. You know, first I said I have a little fear, but then I got to remember, Sherri, that God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. And Dominique the other day, she was talking about the white supremacists. And she says, I just don't like saying that they white supremacists. And so we talked, and I reminded her that Dr. Francis Cress Welsing used to say that we've got to do 3 things. 1, fight for the liberation of black people. 2, fight to end the system of white supremacy. And finally, fight and replace the system with fight and change the system to a system of justice. And I think we can do that. I'm praying for these black women that are so strong. It seemed like they just went after our black men. Dominique and Sherri, I heard you guys talk about Mark Ridley Thomas. It hurt my heart that they're doing that to him. And the lady, a white lady, and I'm not just saying it because she's white, but she's white. We say black, we got to say, didn't she didn't get in no trouble, and she was the boss of all that. How come she didn't get any time? I mean, why didn't that happen? And now they're going after Curran Price about something that we didn't do. I'm being personal, and if I was in the chat room was telling me to watch what you say. But I've been married a couple of times. I don't even know if I took them off my insurance or they took me off theirs. I don't know.
Right. Exactly.
Do we keep up with that? The people that do the paperwork, they know all that. They're supposed to do all that. That's not fair for Curran Price. He's a good man. They're after our good leaders, almost trying to say that when we step up, when we fight, when we show how strong we are, they have a snake in the bush that they're going to pull out, because I know they didn't just find that out the other day and said, oh, here's what we have to do. And the same way with Clarence Thomas and Sherri, I'm one of the ones that had voted for Clarence Thomas, even after he had done the black women wrong. And what's her name, Dominique? I'm having a senior moment.
Hill.
Anita Hill.
Anita
yeah.
Hill. Mm-hmm.
Yes, and Dominique really, she didn't put me in check, but she put me in check.
Nobody can put you in check.
And she said, "Why did you do that?" And I didn't, I guess because back in the day, I'm 76, Sherri, and when I would do things, we would just tell, "Get your hands off of me. You can't be touching me like that. No, I'm not going to go out to dinner with you. Y'all got a better card." We would just tell them off, and that was the end of it. And so I thought that maybe that's what happened. And plus, look whose seat he was taking. And I was afraid that somebody wouldn't. But I was completely wrong in that, Dominique, and I've apologized a couple of times. So I just wanted to call in, make those appointments. And last point, your guest you had on yesterday, I need to remind them, what is reparation? Reparation is repair. What is repair? Whatever it takes to make us whole. Maybe if I didn't have to pay any interest on my house note, my car note. Maybe if I just had a card that when I went to the grocery store, I wouldn't have to pay any taxes. Free schools. It's not just money, because we don't own the money, and the folks that would get the money, who knows what they would do with it. And why should we get reparation? Because they said that we are 3/5 of a person. We are a fraction. We're not. We need to be made whole. And finally, who should get it? Dobas, D-O-B-A-S, descendants of black African slaves. And that's what we are, and we can prove this. And because some of the guests that you had on yesterday, they said, I don't know if they said it yesterday, but they said President Barack Obama wouldn't qualify for reparation because his father came here willingly. But I guess they didn't tell the police that he wasn't black, and he, because they messed with him real bad. Family, we've got to pray for our leaders, especially our black women. And Dominique, if you ever get a chance, this is one white person I would like to hear. Where is Al Gore with climate change? He was saying that back in the 70s that we were going to come up on this, and now it is. I don't know who our expert in climate change is for now. I close by saying, all you prayer warriors out there, you know what you've got to do. You've got to keep fasting. You've got to keep praying, because the struggle continues. And always, to God be the glory. Thank you, Dominique.
Thank you, Molly Bell. Sherri, I'm going to let you unpack that on the other side. She said a lot of things. But we've been trying to book Al Gore on this show for years, FYI. So many times it's people you want to hear from, they're people we want to hear from too. They probably get zillions of requests every day, but we'll keep trying. We'll keep trying. Love to hear from you. Not too late, 800-920-1580, KBLA, Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
JP Morgan Chase is building on the investments in California and around the country to help close the racial wealth gap and build a more equitable future. As part of JP Morgan Chase commitment, they are taking action to help improve financial wealth and access to banking in the Black community, helping more people open low-cost checking and savings accounts, hosting community seminars with supporting Black-led institutions by building awareness about financial investments, hiring community managers, and opening community center branches like Crenshaw, Inglewood, and downtown LA. Visit today, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Again, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Get the tools to help reach your financial goals. Visit today, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Again, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity.
For all of us, this generation and the next, there is simply no place in our lives for litter. And yet, it's everywhere we look. And unfortunately, it does belong to all of us. So, let's come together and create a litter-free, clean California, once and for all. Remember to properly dispose of your trash and recycling. Secure truckloads with tarps to keep debris from flying out. Clean out your car when you're at a gas station. Take pride in your community by organizing a cleanup event or join a cleanup event near you. Zero litter is the goal. Join us at cleanca.com. That's cleanca.com. Let's do it together. Brought to you by Caltrans. cleanca.com.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
KBLA Talk 1580 stands for Unity and Healing. African Focus Incorporated is a nonprofit organization based in California that focuses on the growth and well-being of Africans all around the world. Their mission is to promote the well-being of people of African descent through knowledge and appreciation of one another by building a bridge of love and understanding. African Focus Incorporated strives for cultural, educational, and economic growth. They're the organization behind the African Family Induction Ceremony, African Goodwill Awards, African Focus Trailblazer Tours, African Dance Competition, and Showcase Los Angeles, Family Day, Good News Windows Microfinance Project, and more. To volunteer, travel with African Focus, or to attend one of their community building events, please call 310-676-7730. That's 310-676-7300. Or visit AfricanFocus.org. This is a diaspora-wide community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DiPrima right now.
Right now, Sherri Bell is with me, and we are welcoming you in. But Molly Bell said a lot of things. Sherri, I wonder if you wanted to react to any of those.
Man, first of all, I just feel like just saying amen. But yeah, I think that it's important, like, to have the narrative and to, like, how can I say this? Like, don't fall for the narrative that we are divided, like that Black women don't support Black men, right? I think that we have always supported Black men, and I think that we are going to continue to do so, even though we're strong, right? I think that I do think that people in power sometimes fear the Black man, and so you might see more women in certain positions than Black men sometimes, But I do want to say that the narrative that we should remember is that we support each other in these times, and we're going to continue to do it. We're going to continue to support one another. And I think that's what I want to share. And also about the whole Clarence Thomas, I mean, it's a sign of the times, right? It's like media, showcase different things, highlighted different things. Nowadays more things are being brought to light. And that was probably like the mentality, then like, just keep it going, be strong, and move forward, and not hold people accountable. And I do hear about that wanting to keep that Thurgood Marshall seat, and many people have thought that way. But I'm glad to see that, like, that Molly Bell and other people have seen through, like, that all skin folk ain't kin folk, right? And we gotta do what's best for our people as a whole. And I think I think those are the two topics that I resonated with me. Yeah, I know Molly Bell said a whole bunch, and I appreciate her insight all the time.
Yeah, she had me laughing when she said she's been married twice and she don't know where the paperwork
right,
is.
Exactly.
She had me I didn't know. I knew you were married once, Molly Bell. I didn't know she was married twice. But I, from my work with Zorn Basic, the elder care attorney, I know that's shockingly common. I remember when the actor Gary Coleman died, he was on life support and he hadn't updated his paperwork. So his ex-wife was the one that made the decision to take him off life support. It's just, when it's shockingly common. People are like, I'm done with you. You're out of here. You're out of my life. Did I cross the T's and dot the I's? Maybe not. Anyway, I want to talk about what's going on with Ralph Yarl when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Say the quiet part out loud. KBLA Talk 1580. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Tired of being locked out of job opportunities and shut down by systemic racism? KBLA stands with you in fighting for the rights of black workers, and we don't black down. The Los Angeles Black Workers Center is a dynamic alliance of workers, organized labor, community-based organizations, clergy, students, and scholars, working collectively to improve the position of the black working class. The LA Black Workers Center takes a comprehensive approach to addressing the black jobs crisis. Their programs promote access to quality jobs, racial equity in hiring and retention, discrimination-free job sites, and they prepare black workers for employment in high-wage, career-track jobs. The Black Workers Center supports workers who need help protecting their rights on the job. They give workers access to quality jobs and remove systemic barriers to employment. To sign up for free career readiness training, get involved in organizing around anti-discrimination, learn about union apprenticeship programs, or sign on to a trade registry, please visit www.lablackworkerscenter.org. That's lablackworkerscenter.org. Together, we can beat the black jobs crisis. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
Roll Charmin ultra strong when you drop in the beat. It cleans with way less effort on your seat. Yeah, roll it, drop it. Yeah, roll it, drop it. Okay. Charmin flows extra strong from the road. Your butt hella clean while you're sitting on the bowl. Yeah, it's all you need for that bathroom groove. Get you in and out without nothing to prove.
Charmin Ultra Strong cleans better so you can use less. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where hate loses and love wins.
Sherri wanted to sneak this story in. You remember Ralph Yarl, a teenager who had gone looking to pick up his younger brothers and sisters. This is in Kansas City, Missouri. And he went to the wrong house and was shot dead by the 84-year-old white man that lived in that house. Well, now a judge has ruled that that 84-year-old retired mechanic must stand trial. And to me, that is good news. His counsel had said with his age and physical infirmity, he couldn't defend himself, and that he was sad that he killed this child. But the judge said, well, you still have to go to court.
Right. No, yeah, I mean, the happy ending is that, you know, the kids survived, you know, that the shooting. And then also the fact that if Emmett Till could get killed and drowned for whistling at a white woman, you know, and none of them people were ever held accountable. Even after the woman admitted that she lied, the state still didn't want to press charges. I feel like this is an opportunity to correct some of those wrongs in the past where so many of our people were murdered and lynched and killed by mobs over trivial things. I feel like this is something that should definitely happen. It's a no-brainer to me. Age, I understand age, but this man is a known racist. His own grandchild came out and said it.
That's
so
right. I forgot about
sorry.
that.
Yeah, no sympathy for this gentleman on account of age. It was racially motivated, and I'm not having any sympathy for him, just like I don't have any sympathy for anybody else that would do something like that.
And you're right. Ralph Yarl did survive. That's an important point. But he took a shot to the head. I have a relative, I'll say, who had that. And it does change you forever. He had a traumatic brain injury. He couldn't finish his engineering internship. He was he was about to start his senior year in high school, and his life is going to be changed forever.
Yeah.
And I think you make a good point. The guy was a known racist. So to say, well, he was just an old scared guy, it doesn't sound like the truth.
Nope, and I can't wait for them to file a civil suit and take him for everything he has. Because why not? You know, the same type of empathy isn't given to when it happens, you know, to us. The shoe isn't on the other foot, you know, and his wealth should be impacted to pass down just like it affected us, you know, by our land being taken away and things being stripped away from us. I'm sorry, but, you know, it shouldn't just be one-sided. It's the right thing to do, and I'm waiting for the civil suit to come out because that's only fair as well.
Yeah, it's one of the rare cases where a black victim has done really well. He got $3.5 million in his GoFundMe. Usually, it's the attacker that gets the money, but in this case, I guess because he was such a young and beautiful, promising young child, he did inspire that sympathy. Sherri Bell, thank you for being with me on Friday.
Oh, my. It's been a blast, as usual. Thank you for having me. Thank you, KBLA family out there listening on the airwaves. Appreciate you guys, too.
Happy Labor Day weekend to my favorite labor organizer, Sherri Bell.
Woo!
Woo! Yeah, the people get a day off. It's KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. An updated list of the people considered missing or unaccounted for following the deadly wildfire in Lahaina, Hawaii will be released today. The current list has 388 names. Governor Josh Green expects the total to drop significantly this time, possibly to the lower double digits, and maybe even below 50. There are 115 people confirmed dead, and 100% of the disaster area has been searched for remains. In Indiana, a fine arts fair is returning to Indianapolis this Labor Day weekend. Butter is happening now through September 3rd. The third annual festival will showcase work from more than 50 black artists. The arts fair opens at 11 a.m. each day and stays open until 6. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Right now, during Labor Day savings at Lowe's, get up to $1,500 off select.
Dodgers were trying to win 25 games in a month for the first time since the team moved to L.A. from Brooklyn in 1958. The Dodgers finished the month 24-5. Mookie Betts had